Hello and welcome back everybody to the Foodbuild factory, where today we are going to take a look at the Enclave Scout. That's the guy you can see on screen right now. And as always, I'm going to show you some gameplay, and in the latter half of the video we are going to take a look at the perks, the mutations and the equipment. So first and foremost, what is this character going to be about? Well, as you can already tell from the way I'm approaching these here enemies, we are going to be a stealth melee character, and more precisely we're going to use the Warglaive, which is a weapon that was introduced with daily ops. In order to get it, you need the plan for the weapon itself, the Warglaive plan, which you can get from the daily ops. And after you learn the plan, you can either craft a non-legendary version at your weapons workbench, and you also have the chance to get legendary versions from either the Purveyor as a reward for daily ops, or as a reward for events like Scorched Beast Queen and such. So specifically what we are using here is a Zealot's Warglaive with extra power attack damage. So as you can already tell, it's nothing too special. Like the extra power attack damage is very nice, but Zealots, for example, is really just a legendary effect that no one would probably bother to go for. So it's hard to get a legendary version here, and I wanted to show off the weapon as soon as possible, and also I didn't want to wait to get a really good legendary version because it's hard to get. So what you see here is just going to be slightly better than it would be if you were using a non-legendary version. So what are we going to do here is, as you can see, the weapon itself is fairly silent, but not completely silent as far as I can tell. So even though we're using sneak, we're not using it all the time. So what we're doing is we're trying to get into stealth shortly before approaching an enemy, but we can definitely live without stealth too. So we're taking some hits here and there, and just gotta say sorry, but the fog is really crazy. I hope it's getting better soon. And yeah, back to the topic. As you can see here, we're getting detected quite easily. In fact, way easier than it was earlier. Like, I tested this character for like 2 hours now, I think. Just, you know, fine-tuning and such. And I didn't really have all that big of a problem. Like, for some reason, enemies at the moment seem to be very perceptive. But it's not a problem for us. So as I said, you can be pretty efficient in and out of stealth. So in stealth, we're just making use of a bit more damage. So especially if you want to take down high level enemies in one hit, especially super mutants, you really need to use stealth combined with a power attack. And one thing that should be said about this character is, in terms of equipment, we are actually far from being at our maximum efficiency. So what I mean by that is that not only our armor, but also the weapon, or basically more importantly the weapon, have a lot of room for improvement. So on this character, I actually never bothered to finish the Wastelander's questline, and honestly I think it's even the only character I never bothered to. And I was so happy when I got the Warglaive plan, because this is my melee character, and I was really hoping to get the Warglaive on this here character. Well, turns out I have no way to get the modifications at the moment, because you have to have the Wastelander's questline finished in order to get the mutations, because you get them from the bunker, from Rex. And well, there was just no chance for me to do so. That being said, the weapon already on its own is quite impressive. The Warglaive is actually one of the best melee weapons in game right now, simply because it has such a high base damage. But yeah, keep in mind that you can easily stack... Hello. There we go. You can easily stack another 100 points of energy damage, I think it is, on top of the weapon, if you're using the... What is it called? The plasma blade? I think it's called the plasma blade. Anyway, it's this modification that adds plasma damage to the weapon. So that's everything about the weapon. And what I wanted to say about the armor is that I'm using a full set of scout armor. All of them are legendary. I think 4 pieces are a chameleon and 1 piece is a troubleshooter's piece. Oh boy. This here Deathclaw never bothers to show up. I haven't killed it, by the way, so it should appear, but well, anyways. Yeah, the armor is completely unmodded at the moment. So first and foremost, you could definitely improve your sneak ability if you were to put on muffled mods for the legs. I think they should be available. The thing is, with Enclave Scout armor, you don't unlock the modifications for the armor by scrapping pieces. You also, I think, can learn to craft the pieces. So you need to buy mods from the Enclave bunker in order to unlock them, or not unlock them in that case, but they are one-time use only. So yeah, as I said, completely unmodded armor set and completely unmodded weapon, which means we could both improve our survivability and our damage output by a lot at this point. So this character here, you can see, is, I'd say, about halfway done. So there's a lot of room for improvement. Well, anyways, going on here, the aesthetic is pretty straightforward. We're playing this here stealth agent from the Enclave, nothing out of the ordinary. The Enclave eye patch works really well, so you really look like you've been through some shit. And yeah, as you see here, stealth really is just an option for us in order to... Well, that was very bad timing. I didn't bother to check. Do I have a backup weapon here by any chance? Let me take a look. Do I have repair kits? No, obviously I don't have repair kits on this character, and I don't even know where the next weapon workbench is. I mean, there is one over there, but yeah. What are we going to do here? I don't want to start the video off again. Do we have a weapons workbench in this here shed by any chance? We do. Yeah, no need to use to repair up to 200% at this point. Oh, just want to show off the weapon. So, back at it. Lovely red storm. By the way, I do really think that red storms don't appear often enough, in my opinion. So I do quite love how they changed the aesthetic, and so early after the war, you thought, I don't know, I feel like Appalachia is just so vibrant and full of life that for some reason when a red storm comes over, it really fits the whole Fallout universe way better than the vanilla game does, like vanilla and being no red storm. I feel they should appear more often and also should have more severe drawbacks like more radiation and such, but well, just my opinion. It doesn't really have to do with the build here. And as you can see, we have no problem with stealth as long as we're not using the weapon, but the moment we're using it, enemies are detecting us quite fast. So we want to take down enemies in one hit, otherwise we are in trouble. But on the other hand, as soon as they are dead, we go back into caution, or, well, in this case even hidden, fairly quickly. So what that means is once you really upgraded the weapon in order to, yeah, you should be able to take down these major guts pretty easily in one hit from stealth, and then you really have less of a problem staying in stealth. But as you see already, it's still quite fun. Maybe we can do the rest of the video simply without stealth at all, just using sprint attacks and such. We obviously take a lot of damage simply because our armor isn't all that well modded, but even if we're down to 0 health basically, we can completely regain our health with one stim pack, because we have invested a little bit into healing, so meaning we have 3 ranks of first aid. I thought it might fit the whole character of a agent of the Enclave pretty well, meaning if they are out on a mission or something, they probably are trained in some first aid in order to keep themselves alive. And yeah, this should work fairly well. We had the room in intelligence. Yeah, that was not so hard usually, but well. So we used 3 ranks of it. Also, one thing that could be said, I think I haven't shown it off in the video because I don't have any grenades with me, but we do use rank 5 of Demolitions Expert and rank 1 of how's it called? Gotta check here, sorry. Fire in the hole, yes. So if we were to throw a grenade, we would see where it lands. So this character here has a fairly modest investion. Is investion a word? I hope it is. Into explosives in order to deal with like groups of enemies. So in this case here, for example, it would have been very nice. This could be, ooh, this is great. I love it. I like that weapon very much. Sadly, I have to shown off like heavy gunners with 50 cals a bit often already, so you probably won't see that weapon in action. But I guess I'm gonna have fun with it on my character. Let's kill a red here. Oh, there's multiple reds. By the way, the perfect weapon for this build, I'd say, would be a instigating swing speed warglaive. Anti-armor would be nice too, but we do use incisors, so it's not as important. And well, what I was gonna say about the character, we're thirsty by the way. I think you saw how it performs. Obviously, you could invest more into stealth in order to really stay stealthy, especially if you're using a bloodied build, which I did. I used this weapon with a bloodied character, but decided to not show off a bloodied character because you know how I feel about bloodied characters. They are not really casual friendly in my opinion. And well, with the full set of unyielding, we had no trouble at all staying in stealth, unless we really went into a crowd, like for example a White Spring Golf Club. But well, anyways, you saw it here. As long as you're approaching single targets or something, stealth can really help you out to get that initial first hit in. And we do want some agility anyways, so it doesn't hurt. You could use other perks in that perk tree, but we're going to take a look at that now. So here are our perks. As you can see, we have 15 strength, which should be no surprise for a melee character. I really went in and invested all into damage related perks here, so no convenience perks this time. We do have Slugger, all 3 ranks maxed out. We do have Martial Artist maxed out, and this time here Incisor. So there's not really anything more we could do here. We have full health, so we could afford not to use Blocker, for example. And as this is my pure melee character, we don't need the usual bandolier and stuff, so I feel like with melee you should really invest into it. You already have quite a lot of carry weight due to your high strength anyways. As you see, as I already told you here, perception, we never use any ranged weapons except for our throwables, so rank 1 of fire in the hole is more than enough. You can throw your explosives a bit further, but that's not why we're using it. We're mainly using it for the throwing arc in order to use the weapon, or the grenade in that case, more efficiently, and it works especially well if you're stealth. As you saw, you can approach enemies easily as long as you're not using your warglaive, so you can really scout out the area and then look for crowded places and place a very well placed grenade in there. Especially the plasma grenades, which really work for the aesthetic of the Enclave. They are a great fit, and they are powerful enough that with a sneak attack you should be able to take down single enemies, even super mutants probably. Onto endurance. Fairly high endurance here, because we want to be sufficient in and out of stealth, so a bit more tankiness through Life Giver, Adamantium Skeleton, Fireproof and Chem Fiend here. Chem Fiend not for survivability obviously. This is due to something I have not shown off in this video. I'm using the legendary perk Brawling Chemist here, which gives you this here so-called super chem, and even though it says Brawling Chemist, it increases melee damage, not only unarmed damage. So what it does, every now and then you get this here chem for free. It's free from addiction, and even though we're not spec'd into using chems all the time, this here felt like a fit. More damage resistance, 30% more melee damage, which is a lot, and more strength, which is furthermore melee damage for 5 minutes. Well, nothing to say against that, I'd say. So this can really be brought up if you're fighting a Sheep Squatch or a Scorch Beast Queen, or Scorch Beast, sorry. So yeah, nice to have, but it's not necessary, and also it's a legendary perk, so I didn't show that off. Didn't want to include it here. In Charisma we have Lone Wanderer, nothing special here. Intelligence, we went for First Aid, as I already said, in order to keep our consumption of Stimpaks fairly low, because we get detected quite a lot. If we do, we always take damage. We try to take out enemies before we die. Well, obviously no surprise, but First Aid really helps us to not use so much Stimpaks. And Demolitions Expert, you could arguably go for Makeshift Warrior and not use explosives at all, but I feel it's fun and works quite well, and can also be quite powerful, especially if you're going against crowds. So on to the next perk tree. We do have Agility here, Agility 10. We do use Through Hiker. This is the only real convenience perk that we use in this case. Ninja for better sneak attacks with our melee weapons. Sneak, Escape Artist, obviously, in order to sneak. On to Luck. In this case we do use Bloody Mess, and I'm going to show you here the difference, because Bloody Mess isn't what it once was. But on this weapon here we do have 234 damage without Bloody Mess. And if we unequip it and look at our weapon, we do have 222, so it's another 12 damage. It's not a lot, but it's not nothing, and honestly there wasn't really anything that was fitting here. But anyways, I'm going to come to that point in a few seconds here. Class Freak and Starch Genes. Class Freak, pretty simple. We are boosting our agility through mutations, which I'm going to show off soon. And those mutations tend to have debuffs to strength, which is a direct debuff to our melee damage, so we want to avoid that. Starch Genes, obvious here. Once again, here are our legendary perks. The only one you saw in action here maybe was Funky Duds. We're talking about 50 more poison damage resistance when wearing a full matching set, which we do. But I felt like I could leave that in simply because it's not that big of a game changer. You can probably already tell how the character would behave without it too. I'm not even sure if it was necessary in this video at all, so I left that in. And legendary agility rank 2 and legendary strength rank 1. Obviously I want to show off characters that don't use legendary perks if possible. I didn't want to swap them out because this is basically bloody mess. So if you don't have access to legendary perks yet, just leave out bloody mess. I just showed you. You're missing out on 12 damage, but more than likely you will have the mod for the Warglaive if you're using it. So that 12 points of damage you're missing out on are pretty much nothing at all. And the last legendary perk here that I had equipped, or the last two one, as I said, Brawling Chemist, I didn't use it. Taking one for the team, I wasn't in a team. And Retribution, well, you have to actively block, which I didn't do in the video, and to be honest, the perk isn't good. It has a niche use in my opinion, which I'm going to show off sooner or later, but not today. So yeah, that's for the legendary perks. Now we're going to quickly take a look at our equipment. You already seen it and I talked to you about it. That's the Zealot Warglaive with more power attack damage. I mean, it could be worse. The power attack damage is definitely nice. It's one of the best legendary effects on melee weapons in my opinion, but Zealots definitely could be better. And also, I still prefer swing speed over power attack damage. But that's what we had, and as you see, no mods. And onto our equipment, our armor. +1 agility and chameleon left arm. Chameleon left arm with the Cavalier's effect and extra strength. Bit of extra strength, obviously nice on a melee character. Here on the left leg we do have AP refresh with chameleon. Then we go on. Here is a poisoner's one, which has harder to detect while sneaking, and chameleon. And lastly, this here troubleshooter piece. So obviously if that would be a chameleon would be nice, but we don't have that. We have a troubleshooter's piece. The extra AP refresh is nice though. And last thing we're going to take a look at. Here you can see our adrenal reaction, bird bones, carnivore, egghead, marsupial, and speed demon. So adrenal reaction, leftover from another build. Not necessary in this case, but with rank 3 of Class Freak, it means -12 to our max HP, which we do have a lot of HP due to our high endurance, so -12 HP, we can live with that. Bird Bones, -1 strength, +4 agility, helps us with sneaking, damages our strength a little bit, but not that big of a drama. Carnivore, well, it's up to you. You can use herbivore, carnivore, or none of them. It's not necessary here. Egghead, unnecessary too, but extra intelligence is nice to have, especially since we aren't a high intelligence character. So a bit more passive intelligence is always nice and helps us to counter the negatives from marsupial, which are low in this opinion, but it overall makes us have what, 13 intelligence, good for leveling. And speed demon, while we're not using weapons that have to reload, we can run a lot faster than without it. So that's it for the build for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's my take on a melee character. What should be said about it is melee isn't what it was once, and as we are using a high health build here, you will see problem when you fight well, sheep squatches and obviously Scorch Beast. Scorch Beasts in this occasion aren't that big of a deal actually, simply because once you get them to land, simply because we have the Zealot's Warglaive, you can take them down fairly quickly, but it takes a few minutes. Like, we're talking 2 to 3 minutes probably, and it can be frustrating because they have their stagger, their melee attack, which staggers you. Same goes for the sheep squatch. it's just a chore. It's not hard to do. You can fairly easily survive it, simply because the attacks don't come in all that often. So you survive one attack and have like 20 seconds to take a stim pack before the next attack comes. In the meanwhile, you can do damage. It's just a bit tedious, honestly. So you should think about if it's worth to fight such a creature or not. Well, if it's a 3-star enemy, obviously go for it, but if you're roaming around and just cross a simple level 80 Scorch Beast or a Sheep Squatch, you might as well just leave it there. It's not worth the XP, and most likely not worth the loot either. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the character. I do like the aesthetics quite a lot with the eye patch, and honestly, put a plasma blade attachment on the Zealot's Warglaive and it fits the Enclave quite well, in my opinion. So anyways, that's it for today. Have a nice day and bye, guys.